feeling really anxious. I mean, I'm about to give birth soon. It's overwhelming. Is there anything that could at least help take my mind off it, even just a little bit? Maybe something like reading a book or watching some TV here. Not that you would know, since you've never given birth yourself, right? Amber, yeah, I can understand why you'd feel that way. It must be really tough. And you're right, I don't have any experience with childbirth, so there isn't much I can say that would truly help. Maybe ask one of the nurses who are around to help you find something to keep your mind off things. But anyway, if there's anything I can do for you, anything at all, just let me know. Well then, why don't you go ahead and buy me a Chanel bag? If I have that, I'm sure it'll give me the motivation to push through and stay strong. And then I can take it out with me on the town after having this baby. What are you even saying? That's not the point here, and you know it. I'm genuinely concerned about you, you know? I'm worried about your health, too, and making sure you're doing well. Are you craving anything specific, or would you like me to get you some sports drinks or anything? I could bring those over for you. Hello? I'm not sick or anything. Why are you talking about sports drinks? Are you seriously that clueless? But I just thought since your body's going through a lot right now, maybe you'd want something like that. It's all about taking care of your health. How many times do I have to tell you? If I have a Chanel bag, I'll be perfectly fine. Don't make me repeat myself. I'm a pregnant woman. I am carrying this huge belly around, trying my best to keep going despite how hard it is. I don't know what to say, but to be honest, I've had a lot of expenses lately too. I don't really have the money to go and buy something like that. I'm really sorry. Wow, you are seriously useless. If that's how it's going to be, then talking to you is just a waste of time. I am fine with just having my husband around. That's enough for me. I'm getting so irritated. And to think you're not even my real mom. I'm the one going through pregnancy here, so at least you could do me a favor and call my actual mom instead. I'm sorry. You're always like this, aren't you? Even after Dad passed away, you were acting all cheerful, like nothing was wrong. You've always been so eager to get on my good side, huh? You go out of your way to spend all this money just to try and win my favor. It's honestly pathetic, but I guess you know by now that money is the only thing you really have to offer, huh? Is that really how you've been seeing me this whole time? I only wanted to be there for you because there was no one else who could stay by your side. But you've always acted like you were still going through some kind of rebellious phase. Of course, I try to make you comfortable, but we're family after all. That's exactly what I mean. You always say these neutral, nice things to try and smooth things over. It's so fake, honestly. Acting like you're some kind of saint, it's gross. You don't have to be so harsh with your words. Whatever, you can go on living your life the way you always do. I've got more important things to deal with, so I'm done here. Oh, right. I'm sorry for keeping you for so long. I'll let you go then. I understand. Take care and good luck with everything. Wait, what's going on? What do you mean, get out? I just wanted to see the baby as soon as possible since they've just been born. I've been waiting all this time to meet them. Huh? Don't get ahead of yourself, all right? I don't want someone like you, a stranger, anywhere near the child I just gave birth to. Got it? What? A stranger? What are you saying? I've never thought of you as family, and frankly, I want you to get out of the hospital room. Up until now, I stayed quiet because I thought you were useful, but to be honest, you've always been so annoying. So I'm taking this chance to cut ties with you. Go on, disappear already, you old hag. You really mean that, don't you? Obviously. Don't you ever show your face again. And by the way, you stink. Your old lady smell is unbearable. I see. Well, then I'll go. I'll take your words to heart. Just know that you can't take them back after this. Why would I want to take them back? Ugh, it's so gross. The stench of old age is suffocating. I need to spray some air freshener or something. Well then, goodbye. And don't ever contact me again.
Wait, Chelsea, what happened? Where did you go? I thought you were resting while I stepped away for a moment, but now I can't seem to find you. I asked Amber, and she said you'd gone home. Did something happen?
Oh, Frank, I've been cut off from that child. She told me she doesn't want me in her life anymore. So I've gone back home and returned to my work.
What? But Chelsea, just earlier she was in tears of joy, so happy to see you. And now you're telling me she sent you home? I don't understand. What happened?
Frank, I've told you before, haven't I? I'm that girl's father's second wife. I'm not her biological mother. I made sure you were aware of that.
Yes, of course, you told me, but surely that's not the reason why she would...
Oh, but it is. Apparently I'm nothing more than a stranger to her. She told me not to come near her child because I'm not family. And just like that, I was shown the door. She said that until now I was useful to her in some way, but now that she has no need for me, she's cutting ties. It's as simple as that.
That's so unfair. It's not right at all.
I agree, but there's nothing more to say. From here on out, I won't be stepping in or trying to help in any way. She's a stay-at-home mom, and I know this will put a burden on you, but it's no longer my concern. You'll have to take care of things from here on out.
Wait, does that mean you're really serious? You're not going to help us at all moving forward?
I'm afraid so. Every future plan we discussed, it's all off the table now. From now on, you, her, and the baby will have to figure things out on your own.
I understand. I guess this is how it has to be. Honestly, though, I think it's the right decision. Even if she didn't mean what she said, even if those harsh words came out in the heat of the moment, it's still unacceptable. You don't say things like that to someone who's done so much for you.
Well, that's how I feel too. I don't care what she or anyone else thinks anymore. I have reached my limit. There is only so much a person can take before something inside just snaps. I am done bending over backwards for her. From now on, I'm going to live my life freely without worrying about her. To be honest, just knowing I can finally live without constantly thinking about her feelings, it's a relief for me. I feel lighter already.
That makes sense. I get it. But the truth is I have my own struggles to deal with, too. There's something I need to tell you. As much as I've tried to stand by her all this time, I don't know if I can keep supporting her in the future. If things continue like this, I'm not sure how much longer I can do it. I'm sorry.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Well, in any case, I guess she's no longer my daughter. I'm not going to push any responsibilities onto you either. If there's more going on, it's up to you both to figure it out. I don't want to get involved anymore.
Thank you for understanding.
I know it's going to be hard moving forward, but I believe you'll find a way. Just hang in there, okay? Mom, where are you right now? The house I'm supposed to live in? It's gone! What's going on? Oh, Mom? Are you talking to me? It's strange to hear you calling me that now, considering you've never addressed me that way before. What? Of course I'm talking to you. What's going on? The new house I was supposed to move into, it's up for sale. When I asked about it, I was told it's being sold because the owner put it on the market. That's all the real estate agent would tell me. When I asked my husband, he said I should talk to you. So what happened? Let me make this clear. I am not your mother, but yes, I am responsible for that. I sold the house. The new house you were supposed to move into has been put up for sale. In fact, I already have interested buyers, so I'm not worried about it at all. What? I don't understand. Why? I was supposed to live there. We bought it so I could raise my baby in peace. That was the whole plan. Yes, that's what you thought, but let me ask you, who did you think was paying for that house? Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying you were the one who was supposed to pay for it, not my husband? Exactly. I was going to pay for the entire thing. Your husband doesn't make enough money to afford a house in that area. It's a beautiful home, and there's no way he could have bought it with his salary. Wait, are you serious? Yes, I am. Look, I know I'm not your biological mother, and because of that, I've always felt that I probably made things difficult for you. It's not my fault you grew up without your real mother, but it is my responsibility that I married your father knowing he had a daughter. I promised myself that I would treat you like my own daughter. Of course, I didn't really know how to do that, and I was always feeling my way around. But at the very least, I wanted to make sure you never had to worry about money. I thought that would be one way to support you. Unfortunately, it turns out that my good intentions were taken advantage of, and in the end, it all led to this. Wait, you really felt that way about me? Even though we're not blood related? Yes, exactly, because we're not blood related. I knew I could never replace your real mother, but I hoped that by being there for you, I could at least fill the gap left by her absence.
So when it came to this house, I wanted to make sure you had a safe and comfortable place to raise your own child. I felt it was the least I could do, but I didn't think it was my place to boast about it, so I didn't go out of my way to tell you, hey, I'm the one buying this house for you. I thought that would be too much.
I thought my husband was the one buying the house for us. He never said anything different.
Well, he probably assumed you knew. I'm sure he didn't think your relationship with me was so superficial that you'd just take what I offered and then turn around and cut ties with me. He likely didn't realize that you were planning to distance yourself from me the moment you no longer needed anything from me. I'm sure that never crossed his mind. That's why when I was kicked out of your life, he was just as surprised and even reached out to me asking where I had gone.
But I never expected you to do something like this for me.
Let me guess, what you're thinking now is, I didn't realize she was going to buy me a house, and if I had known she was this useful, I shouldn't have cut ties with her so quickly. Right?
That's not...
Anyway, you should be arriving home soon, shouldn't you? I sent you a little present, and it should be waiting for you when you get there. Be sure to check it out.
A present? What do you mean? Wait, does this mean you haven't given up on me after all? You're still going to help me?
Well, you'll have to wait and see. Consider it a surprise for when you get home.
What's going on? My biological mother just showed up at my house demanding to hold the baby, yelling to be let inside. She's acting completely insane. This is terrifying. She's still outside shouting, "Do something! Is this woman really my mother?"
Oh, I see you've received my little present. Yes, that woman is indeed your biological mother. Your father divorced her to escape from her and then met me. We got married afterward.
Are you serious right now?
Yes, absolutely. As you can see, she's not exactly stable. Your father realized that a few years after you were born. Up until then, he thought she was just a bit eccentric. He tried to be understanding, accepting of her oddities, but after you were born, things changed. She started using stress as an excuse to go to the pachinko parlors all the time, racking up debt. When she'd come home, she'd blow up in fits of rage. She neglected you, leaving your father to take care of everything while she claimed to be suffering from postpartum depression. Then she started spending her days drowning in alcohol.
I had no idea. My real mother was that terrible?
Your father hid it from you, but he didn't tell you any less either. He just avoided embellishing the truth to make her sound like someone she wasn't.
There's no way this is real. That woman out there can't be my mother.
Your father knew that if she ever found out about your life, she'd come running for money. That's why we've been keeping things hidden from her all these years. But then you're the one who insisted. You said, I'm pregnant and struggling. Couldn't you at least find my real mother? Don't you remember?
I might have said something like that, but if she's like this, I really didn't need her to be found.
Well, since you've severed ties with me, your stepmother, I figured I'd grant your request as a parting gift.
This is impossible. If I let that woman hold my baby, she might take off with them. Why would you tell her where I live?
Where else would I have sent her? It's not like you have your new house anymore. I couldn't tell her the hospital. That'd cause problems. So your current place was the only option.
This is the worst situation possible. Now that she knows where I live, I'll never be able to escape her.
Oh, don't worry about that. You won't be living there much longer anyway.
What? What do you mean by that? This is my husband's rental. This has nothing to do with you.
You're right, it doesn't involve me. But honestly, you've been far too cocky for too long. Even your husband is fed up.
What are you talking about? What's going on?
Let me ask you something. Whose child did you give birth to?
Huh? What are you trying to say?
The baby you just had. It's not your husband's, is it? I'm asking you, whose child is it?
Of course it's my husband's. Who else would it be?
Your husband suspected something. He thought you were seeing someone else behind his back. So he hired a private investigator, and guess what? It turns out you were. They gathered plenty of evidence, so there's no way you can talk your way out of this.
Stop it! That's ridiculous! There's no way!
There's plenty of proof. You're caught. After gathering all that evidence, he decided to take a paternity test just to be sure. And surprise, surprise, the child isn't his.
You've got to be kidding me. Why would he even do that? What kind of person suspects their wife of something like that? That is so low.
You're the one who's done something far lower. He found out the child wasn't his, and now he's going to divorce you.
What? Wait, no! You can't be serious! Divorce over something like this? Isn't that a bit extreme? We just had a baby!
It's not extreme at all. That child isn't his. He has no obligation to stay with you or raise someone else's child. You betrayed him. Did you honestly think there wouldn't be consequences?
But
You married him, had a baby, and he was thrilled, only to find out the baby isn't even his. Can you imagine how that must have felt? Oh wait, you probably can't. You take after your biological mother, emotionally detached and completely self-centered.
I was just so lonely. He was always working and I was always by myself. It was so boring. I felt abandoned. Then I heard that my favorite host had retired, so I thought, why not reconnect? We ended up sleeping together, but it wasn't like it was a big deal.
A big deal? You cheated on your husband and you had another man's baby. That's not something you can brush off as no big deal. You've broken the law. You've committed adultery. You'll have to face the consequences. You quit your job right after you got married, insisting you wanted to be a full-time housewife. He worked his fingers to the bone to support you, and this is how you repay him? Betraying him like this?
But I didn't have a mother growing up. I've always been lonely. And then he chose his job over me, leaving me all alone all the time. How could he not understand how lonely I was? Isn't it his fault for not keeping me happy?
Then get a job.
What?
If you had a job, you wouldn't have had all that free time to start thinking like that. You've built this fantasy in your head that you're some tragic figure who deserves pity and can do whatever she wants because she's been dealt a tough hand in life. You've used me, you've used your husband, and you've convinced yourself that you're entitled to everything. You think the world owes you because you had it rough, right? You've got everything twisted.
That's not fair. Maybe I made mistakes, but you don't have to keep rubbing it in. Just help me out with this one thing. Get me a new house.
You think people who treat others poorly deserve to be treated well in return? You keep going on about how it was so unfair that you didn't have a mother, but there she is outside your door. I called her for you. Isn't that what you wanted? Isn't that enough to make you happy? You've spent your whole life feeling sorry for yourself, never appreciating anyone or anything. You've been so focused on your own needs, your own wants, that you've completely disregarded everyone else. You've become a selfish, thoughtless person. I am done with you. You're an adult now. It's time to face the consequences of your actions. The world isn't going to revolve around you just because you've been dealt a tough hand. If you keep treating people like they exist solely to serve you, you're going to end up alone. You need to start taking responsibility for your own life, because right now, there is not a single person out there that wants to take responsibility for you after everything you've done to us. Even Amber, known for her confidence, seemed to panic in this situation and bowed her head to me, a gesture of apology that was somewhat unexpected. Her behavior was quite out of character, and I could sense the desperation in her tone as she pleaded for forgiveness. However, despite this unexpected display of humility, I couldn't overlook her past behavior towards me. The weight of her previous actions hung heavily in the air, making it clear that an apology alone could not erase the hurt I had experienced, nor could I condone her husband's outrageous actions, which had added to my distress. Their actions crossed a line, and I had no choice but to take a firm stand. This wasn't just a matter of personal grievances. It was about self-respect and the boundaries I needed to establish to protect myself. In a decisive move, I blocked her phone number, ensuring that I completely severed ties with her. It was a significant step, one that was necessary for my own mental and emotional well-being. I had realized that I could no longer tolerate the toxic dynamics of our relationship, and blocking her was a way to take control of my situation. It was important for me to establish boundaries and protect myself from any further negativity that might arise from our relationship. I had spent far too long accommodating Amber's needs, often at the expense of my own feelings and sanity. This was not just about Amber, it was about my well-being and mental peace. I needed to reclaim my space and prioritize my own emotional health. As for what happened to her afterward, I don't know the details very well. However, according to reports from her husband, Frank, it seems that Amber demanded a proper compensation for her situation. It's a complicated web they've woven, filled with deceit and manipulation. Frank conveyed to me that Amber was in despair, unable to rely on her former life as a host to support her anymore. The man she had turned to for help, a former host, was no longer a viable option, leaving her feeling abandoned and hopeless. This turn of events stirred a mix of emotions within me. While I couldn't deny that Amber had experienced hardships in her life, I also couldn't ignore the reality that she had often manipulated those around her to get what she wanted. Her situation was a culmination of her own choices, and I began to understand that it is wrong to take advantage of others' kindness simply because of one's past. Life had been difficult for Amber, but that doesn't give her the right to expect others to be inherently compassionate towards her. It seems she may have finally learned a valuable lesson, that one's past hardships do not justify one's present behavior or entitlement to sympathy. As I pondered this, I realized that my own journey had led me to a similar understanding. We all have our struggles and challenges, but how we respond to them ultimately defines our character. When I think about the relationship we had, I realize that it was marred by manipulation and an unhealthy dynamic. Amber's tendency to exploit the goodwill of others became painfully apparent, and I often found myself on the receiving end of her demands and expectations. It was as if she had taken my kindness for granted, expecting me to always be there to support her without considering the toll it was taking on me. Her approach was one of entitlement, as if my kindness was something she deserved rather than something I offered willingly. Reflecting on our interactions, I remember instances where she would come to me with her problems, expecting me to drop everything to assist her. I would listen patiently as she recounted her tales of woe, feeling an obligation to help her navigate her difficulties. While I am a naturally caring person, I also have my own life to manage, and I cannot always be available for others. There were times I felt overwhelmed by her continuous neediness, yet I still tried to be supportive, believing that everyone has their struggles. However, there is a distinct difference between offering support and being taken for granted. Amber's behavior often blurred that line, leading me to question the sincerity of our friendship. It felt as if her appreciation for my help was conditional, reliant on my continued availability and willingness to cater to her needs. This realization was disheartening and made me reconsider the nature of our relationship. In the past, I might have ignored the red flags, thinking that friendship meant being there for one another unconditionally. I had been raised to believe in the value of loyalty and support in friendships, but life experiences have taught me that healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on manipulation or dependency. As much as I wanted to be a good friend, I also needed to prioritize my own emotional health and establish clear boundaries. Now that I've distanced myself from Amber, I find a sense of relief in the absence of that toxic energy. It's allowed me to focus on my own life, my own relationships, and my own well-being. The decision to block her number was not made lightly, but it was necessary for my peace of mind. I remember the anxiety I felt every time my phone buzzed, wondering if it was Amber reaching out for yet another favor or emotional crutch. The stories I've heard about Amber's decline since our split illustrate the harsh reality of her choices. Frank's reports reveal a troubling downward spiral. Her inability to find stability or support from those she once relied upon speaks volumes about the consequences of her actions. She is now facing the repercussions of her past behavior, which serves as a harsh reminder that one's actions have consequences. It is a painful truth that many individuals must confront, the reality that our choices shape our lives and relationships in profound ways. When people face the aftermath of their choices, it can often lead to a period of introspection and growth. I hope that Amber is using this time to reflect on her life decisions and the relationships she's taken for granted. It is essential for her to recognize the patterns in her behavior that have led her to this point. This reflection might just provide her with the insight needed for change. Despite the difficulties Amber is experiencing, I can't help but feel a mix of emotions. On one hand, there's empathy for her plight, as everyone deserves a second chance. On the other hand, I feel justified in my decision to cut ties with someone who has repeatedly failed to acknowledge the impact of her actions on others. This duality is part of the human experience. It can feel compassion while also recognizing when it's time to walk away. It's a delicate balance, but one that is necessary for personal growth and healing. As I continue on my path, I hope for the best for Amber, but I also understand that her journey is her own to navigate. I've learned that while it's important to be compassionate, it is equally crucial to protect oneself from toxic relationships. Moving forward, I am committed to fostering relationships that are reciprocal and fulfilling, where both parties can thrive without feeling overwhelmed by the weight of one another's issues. In the end, I believe that everyone has the potential for growth and change. Perhaps this difficult chapter in Amber's life will serve as the catalyst she needs to reassess her values and approach to relationships. Life can be incredibly challenging, but it is how we respond to those challenges that defines us. The resilience we show in the face of adversity can lead to profound personal growth and transformation. No matter where Amber's journey takes her next, I will remain hopeful that she finds a way to rise above her circumstances. However, I will do so from a distance, honoring the boundaries I have set for my own well-being. It's a bittersweet feeling, knowing that I once cared deeply for someone who is now a stranger to me. Reflecting further on Amber's situation, I realize that her life choices and the paths she's taken may stem from a deeper issue of self-identity and self-worth. Often individuals who face challenging upbringings struggle with recognizing their intrinsic value. This can lead them to seek validation from others in unhealthy ways. Amber may have sought approval and affection through her relationships, leading her to dependence on others to fill a void in her life. It's painful to think about how her neediness may have blinded her to the consequences of her actions. Perhaps she felt justified in demanding help from those around her as she equated love and support with the willingness to sacrifice one's own time and energy. However, this notion is fundamentally flawed. Love should not come with strings attached or expectations of continuous support. Her experience as a host, which she relied on for financial stability, likely reinforced a transactional view of relationships. In this environment, affection and support can easily be conflated with monetary gain or the desire for companionship, leading to an unhealthy cycle of dependence. If Amber had experienced a series of superficial relationships that lacked depth, it would make sense that she struggled to form genuine connections with others. Now that Amber finds herself in a precarious situation without the support she once had, she may be forced to confront these issues head-on. It is often in times of crisis that individuals are pushed to reevaluate their lives and choices. Perhaps this moment of despair could be a turning point for her, prompting self-reflection and growth. This kind of introspection is essential for anyone hoping to break free from the patterns that have held